Hey everybody, what's going on? Let's get everything set up here. James is here. Happy Friday, James. Great to see you. Dean is here. Hello, Jane. Aaron's here. Hey. I say hello, Dean. Hello, Aaron. Yay for Friday. That's right. Friday. Loving it. Loving Friday. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're doing good. We've been having a lot of fun doing this every day during the weekdays. I'm enjoying seeing everybody. And I've been kind of, whenever I get a little bit farther on the Blues Elevation Toolkit, I'd like to bring to you what's been going on. And today I was working on the chords, all of the chords in the vault, all the different ones. So let's go ahead, let's take a look over there and see what we've got. Let's share this screen over here. And there we go. So here we are in the toolkit here. So I've been working on the vault, getting this together. A lot of stuff in this in this course, a whole lot of stuff. And what you'll see is, well, we already went through all the scales. We've got all the scales and backing tracks, practice bundles. We've done all that. The last bit are the chord charts here. So what are the chord charts that we have? You'll have in all 12 keys all of the 5 different common dominant 7th chords that you'd have all over the neck of the guitar. All of the minor 7th chords, if you're playing minor blues or minor blues mostly for the minor 7th chords or some classic rock stuff. Here we have all of the common ones, not all of them, but the common augmented, diminished 7th, and half diminished chords that you would use in all 12 keys. Then we have extended chords. So these are your 9ths, your 13ths, your sharp 9 chords, the ones that you'll find in blues. I didn't go for a lot of the other ones that would make it more like a music theory type thing. These are the ones that you're going to find when you play. You're going to run into these things, and I want you to know what they are when you run into them. Then we have some common chord voicings. What are the ones you'll use the most when you're playing blues? Very, very common ones there in all keys. We also have these last 2, which are my favorites. These are the related patterns. So if you're at the 3rd fret and you're playing a blues, what are the chords that are all right here at the 3rd fret that go through your 1 chord, your 4 chord, and your 5 chord? The ones where you don't have to move your hands around. So one of my, where I felt like I was really moving forward as a guitar player was when I didn't have to go that just sliding 1 chord shape up and down that has a certain sound to it, a certain sound that may not be what you're after. Here, listen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play. Let me go back to me for just a second. Somebody popped in here. Tracy, highly wonderful day and awesome toolkit so far. Thank you. I'm glad you're liking it. We got a lot more to go. I'm gonna add a lot of videos and stuff this weekend, so the whole thing should be done very soon. But thank you. That's great. Let's take a look at this here. So this is a G dominant 7th chord, and you usually will go to like a C9 or a C. We'll just say C7. We'll make it super plain, right? So G dominant 7. To a C dominant 7. This is a E7 shape and then an A7 shape, kind of like this one here. But when I first started playing, I would go from this one here to this one here. So let's listen to the difference. Here's has a certain sameness because I'm using the same intervals, the same chord shape, but just sliding it into a new key that may not be the sound that you're listening for. When I would listen back to when I was a teenager and I would try to play along with these songs, and all I had was these slidable chords. I couldn't think about what the other chords were in this area. Everything that I played had a certain sound to it. It's like I used too much spice, some weird, sound there. So I started to find the value of being able to move economically between chords, right? So this one here, if you think about it, right? So here, let me get a close-up on this. Let's start talking about what the actual notes are here. So I've got this G on the low one, but my second note is a D. Well, when I move to the next chord, the note on that string is an A. So we have a little bit of a whole step movement there, right? So here, on the D string, that's my dominant 7, my flat 7th and this G7 chord. On the next chord, on that string, it moves up a whole step. So I've got one note moving down and one note moving up. They're kind of intertwined, right? Has this really nice voice leading, this movement there, right? Let's look at the next string. That was so now on the G string, I've got on my G7, I'm playing at the 4th fret, which is my B note, and for my C dominant 7th, I go to a B flat. So this note is going a half step away. So all the notes between the two chords are very close to each other. It has a really, really cool sound to it. So let's do the B string. It goes up a whole step, and then the note on the highest string stays the same. So we have a little something common there. It reminds me, if you've ever listened to like singers with tight harmonies. Barbershop quartet comes to mind, or in church, small vocal groups in church where they'll have they'll be singing. It's just a cappella, and they are the chord, and each singer gets a root, a third, a fifth, or a separate note from the chord. And as they sing through the passages, you can hear the chords changing with the notes that the voices are singing. And they're usually very close together. They're not jumping around like, right? So that's what I was working on with these. Let's see here. Let me go back to where we were before. Let's just take a look at one or two of them. Okay, let's go into here. Those are the ones, the horizontal ones. I want to replace those here. I'm working on a system where if you were in the key of B, it just takes you to the key of B, and then when you want to go back, it's right there. Very easy, very simple stuff, but something simple like that really makes a difference when you're practicing really fast. Let's do this anyway. These are written horizontal. It's not my favorite. I'm probably going to change that. But here on the first line, we have an A7, a D7, and an E7. Okay, and then in a blues, an A7, a D7, and an E7, that's the 1, the 4, and the 5 chord in a blues, right? Well, what if we were down here at the 2nd fret? And we were maybe playing a lead, and all of a sudden it was time to play the chords, and that's where you were, right? So what are the chord shapes between those chords? So let's see here. Let me give you a closer, too many things to press here. So if I was down here, where's my A7 in this area? Well, this is like the Stevie Ray Vaughan style one. I'm going to bar my A and then put my second finger on the 3rd fret of the high E string. So here's my... Now what's my D7 in this area? Well, it's this C7 shape here. Now if I'm going to an E7, look what I've got. I've got this, it's like an open position D7 shape right there. So I have a lot of different things that I can do in this area now in between those chords. Hey, Evan's in here. Let me say hi to Evan real quick. Evan says, afternoon all. So glad it's Friday. Yes, welcome. Welcome. Our skies today. Who's that? I think I know who that is. Welcome. Okay, so what I have here is, and we'll do the next one as well too here. So the next one that we did do here is, what if we were playing at the 5th fret? What are the chords, the dominant 7 chords while playing blues, where I could play the whole song at the 5th fret instead of just these two? So we have a A7, D dominant 7, and an E dominant 7 there. So let's take a look here. An A7 to the 5th fret is easy. And then we go to the D dominant 7. That's the E shape. Well, here at the 5th fret, for the 4 chord for the D7, that's an A7 shape. And then for our E dominant 7th, that's a C dominant shape there. So comes in very handy because I have my pattern 1 minor pentatonic scale right at the same place where all of these chords are. So I can go in and out of the chord shapes in the middle of right there. I know we've all seen it. You've seen some players playing where they're soloing, and then all of a sudden they put in a couple really cool chords right in the middle of their solo, and you're like, oh, man, I wish I could do that. How are they doing it? They're doing it like this. They're going into the patterns and seeing, well, what chords fit where my hand is that match the chord, the song chords here. How can I use them to my advantage right there? So that's one of the things that I teach in this first level Blues Elevation Toolkit. I teach talking about mixing scales. We talked about that earlier this week. We talked about the blues chords you'll actually use. We work on our pentatonic scales, our big 4 blues scales, and then we work on the extended like our modes a little bit, some of those other scales that you'll use, but then combining them in the vault and going through all of the different options that you have, and being able to practice them quickly with this in all keys is pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about this, and it's looking like next week is the big week opening up. But if you want to follow along with me as I get through this, I have opened it up just for people in the live stream here. So we've had a bunch of people join in already. And I'm not going to announce it to everybody else until everything's finished. But here I'm getting a lot of good feedback. So if it's one thing that you'd like to do, tell me how you like to practice and maybe some things that you want to do. Let's see here. Our Skies Today says, I love rock and roll. Says, I like it. Come to Saginaw, Michigan. Okay, maybe I will. Never know. Save to my playlist. Great. Awesome. Great to see you. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and close up in a minute. If anybody has any questions or anything, come on. And Our Skies Today loves blues too. Good. That's what this is all about. I play rock. I play a whole bunch of different stuff, but this is all about the blues here. Why would you want to know the blues? Well, guess what? That's where rock and roll, a lot of this stuff makes rock and roll make sense. I started playing, I really love Van Halen, and I liked heavier music than that. And was playing it and just memorizing tabs and those things. And then until I started to understand how blues worked, I really didn't understand those songs. A lot of, especially Van Halen, there's tons of blues in Van Halen's too. So Matthew's here. Matthew says, greetings from Edmonton, Canada. Hey, greetings. How are you doing? I hope, is it still warm up there? You still getting a little good weather? I know it's starting to get there. I'm in Florida, so it's just still stinking hot right now for me there. But I'm gonna head off in a few minutes. Great to spend time with you again. We'll be back here on Monday at 4:00. I look forward to spending time with y'all on Monday. We'll do some playing, and then at that point the toolkit will be open, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. Great to see you, and it's good to see the new people, and awesome to see the people I've been seeing all week. See you soon.